In this video, I'll show you how to make a Rekrap secret tunnel entrance/exit. If you want to skip the design process and just want the build, skip to here. Alrighty, I assume at this point you care about what I have to say, so let's get right into it. I recently discovered a YouTuber named Rekrap2's whose content I've been watching while I cry myself to sleep before my next 9 to 5 retail shift. One of his videos in particular is about digging tunnels on the lifesteal server, hiding secret entrances everywhere, and all these cool tunnels under the main spawn. Pretty cool. I fell in love with this concept and wanted to duplicate it on my own server. In one part of his video, he describes designing a new dual entrance/exit that launches the player out with wind charges, while being open from the outside with wind charges. Unfortunately, in his video, he does not go into detail about how the device worked or how he built it, so I had to duplicate it myself. That's what this video is about. Before I continue, I must admit that I'm not very good at Redstone. I had to use the wiki to help me a lot here, and I learned a lot of new things while making it. I went through 4 different iterations, trying to nail down 3 core values. 1, it must be compact. 2, it must be configurable. And 3, it must be consistent. Oh, fuck. And without further ado, let's get into it. So something you'll notice with all of these designs is that they all look really similar. And that's because they are all really similar. The core mechanism from version 1 to version 4 is pretty much the same. The only thing that really changed is the timing mechanisms. So let's get into that. So the first one here, at first glance, it looks like it works perfectly. And arguably it does. The big issues with it are the timing is fixed to 1 height. So this is a 12 block jump. And you can also get stuck sometimes, but it's a 12 block jump, and changing that would require redoing all the redstone. So that's already breaking one of our rules. It's not configurable. The second issue is that it's kind of finicky. You can kind of bump your head on it sometimes. So that led me to making this version, which was broadly the same. I don't remember what changed about this version. But you can see it has the same issues as the previous one. It is too tightly timed, even though it looks really cool. Third version is where we got something kind of interesting, where it's somehow even more tightly timed, because I removed the pulse extender and went for a repeater, because I thought that would do something, and, well, it did, but changing the height would screw up the timing and make it not work, so that was a no-go. That brings us to the final version, and the final version has none of the problems of the previous ones. You can build it between 2 different heights, anywhere from 7 to 12 blocks. Here's the 7 block version. And the 12 block version, which is a very, very satisfying construction. And the mechanism is pretty cool and also pretty simple. So you hit this note block here, and that triggers an observer, which sends a pulse to all of the contraptions, including upwards. The first thing that happens is down here, it sends a delayed pulse to this dispenser down here, which has a bucket of water in it, or more accurately, an empty bucket. So the first thing that happens is it triggers the empty bucket, removing the water from this chest, because if you're in water, the effect of wind charges is greatly diminished. Pretty much does nothing. So we remove that water, and then that will trigger this observer, which feeds into this block, powering this redstone to repower the dispenser after a 4 redstone tick delay. And that causes the water to be removed and replaced automatically. And the reason the water is here at all is because it breaks your fall, so you don't take any fall damage when entering. That was kind of annoying to reverse engineer. I did not notice the dispenser here at first, so I'm like, how did Rekrap get it so that you actually get launched? I don't get it. And then I eventually figured that out, and that was fun. So the second thing that happens is the signal comes over to this pulse extender, where it sends one tick to this torch, and the tick isn't long enough, or the redstone pulse isn't long enough to invert this torch, so it does nothing. 4 redstone ticks later, this block is powered, which powers the redstone and inverts all of this. And that triggers the piston extender. And that will hold for 4, 8, 6, 8 plus 6, 14. It'll hold for 14 redstone ticks, which is long enough to get launched. And of course, after it opens, these dispensers trigger, which send you upward, and then the whole mechanism depowers, repowers these pistons, and closes under you. And that was quite fun to make. It took me about 2 hours. The opening mechanism is quite simple. You throw a windcharge, which triggers a button under the ground. It can be pretty much anywhere you want it to be, which is really nice. That goes down this little downwards redstone ladder, powers this. This block gets hard powered, which powers this repeater, which hard powers this block, which powers this redstone, and also this repeater, which keeps the door open for a good number of redstone ticks. If you wanted, you could remove this repeater to have it just hold open, or go open instantly, rather. And you can change the timings by adjusting all of the redstone repeaters here, which makes it very configurable. The nice thing about this design is that with all the timings that I set, it doesn't need to be changed for the shorter version. It works just the same. The button is a little faster because there's no downloads redstone torch, but you could fix that if you really wanted to. And here's everything you need to build it. The smooth stone amount, redstone dust amount, and slab amount will vary depending on how high you want to build it. Alright, so starting off, we're going to come down 1 block here, another block, stone stairs, an observer, and we're going to be placing that directly down so the face is up. On top of that, we're going to place a chest, and we're going to surround it with stone. Except on this side, we're going to place a dispenser so that's facing into the chest, and we're going to put an empty bucket in there. We're going to place 2 more dispensers on each side at player height, facing towards the chest, and fill them with the wind charges. We're then going to place a block, a note block, and some more structural blocks like so. And then we're going to place 2 repeaters on each side into these dispensers, each set to 4 ticks. An observer here. Link everything up with redstone dust, except here we're going to skip 1 block and place a 4-tick repeater. Under here, onto the block with the redstone, we're going to place another 4-tick repeater and run redstone out to here to link it up to here. Now you can verify this works by waterlogging these 2 blocks. You're going to need to make sure that this bucket is still empty and there is water here because of the observer. Simply right-click the note block, and it works. Alright, now we're just going to build up 11 blocks from on top of the dispenser. Now we're going to make the piston assembly. Start by placing 2 blocks down, and then we're going to break these 2 blocks to put sticky pistons facing towards here. The bottom piston should be facing this piston, the top one should be facing this block. We're going to put a block here, a block here, and we're going to put a 1-tick repeater into this top piston. And now if we grab a button, it should retract, and there should be nothing in the hole. And then if we power it again, perfect. Alright, now down towards the back, we're going to link everything up. So we're going to start by placing a block here, here, remove this block, and then just build this out like so. Dust here, repeater set to 4 ticks, block, repeater set to 4 ticks, block, repeater set to 3 ticks, block. Right here, we're going to want to put a solid block, redstone dust, and then on the top half, more redstone dust. This creates a one-way dust so that it cannot backfeed and power itself infinitely. We're just going to place all of this dust here. And then right here, we're going to put another 2 blocks and place a torch on top. On top of that torch, another block and dust, and we're just going to build a little redstone ladder. We can remove all the extra. And now everything should be linked up. Oh. And now everything should be linked up. And you can verify it works. Just come down here, come inside. Alright. And that's the escape mechanism. Alright, now we're going to build the opening mechanism. You can put this pretty much anywhere you want, and there's a lot of flexibility in the design. Here's how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to place it right next to here. A button. Any button. Doesn't have to be a wooden button. A 1 block gap to put some redstone dust. A torch. In front of it, we're going to put some more dust and another torch. And then we're going to run blocks like so. Here we're going to place a repeater that powers into this block, and now everything should work. If I grab myself a windcharge, perfect. And that's how you build a Rekrap style dual secret entrance / exit. And that's the tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. Do not like, do not subscribe, do not leave a comment. Definitely don't do that. Those are all horrible, horrible, nasty things. After this part, I'm going to give some technical information on how the build works and how you can configure it to your liking. Thanks for watching. Peace. Alright, post-recording little configuration tips. You can make it as short as this. This is, I believe, 7 blocks. Did I not write it down? Yeah, I did. 7 blocks. So you can make it this short. Any shorter than this and all the redstone would start to get conflicted and jumbled. You could probably make it shorter. Just not with this design. You'd have to change some things. You can pretty much just move the entire piston assembly down. There's not much to change here. The button is really the trickiest part. You've got to kind of use your brain a little bit just to figure out how to route the redstone downwards. But it's not hard. I believe in you. As for adjusting the timings, these repeaters naturally adjust how long it takes to fire out the windcharge. This repeater adjusts how long it takes to fire the dispenser that removes the water. I don't recommend touching that one. These repeaters control 2 things. They control how long the door is open and how long it takes to open the door. That's the job of this repeater right here. If you want to make the door take longer to open, replace these 2 blocks with a repeater and another dust, and you can adjust this to your heart's content to make it take longer to open. The reason you need to do that is because this is what's called an instant pulse extender, and it doesn't work if you have a redstone pulse that's shorter than the first repeater, so you need to put another repeater, blah blah blah, technical Minecraft. And to adjust how long it takes for this to open the door, as you can see, it's pretty instant right now. You can just adjust this repeater. Takes a little bit longer, and if you want it to take even longer, I guess you could put like another repeater right here. Make it take just absolutely forever to open. And that does also increase how long it's open, so just keep that in mind if you want to do that. It's so satisfying. Look at it. So much fun. Build this in your world. I highly recommend it. I've built like 5 of them.